Welcome back to Historical Figures in Counseling from the Quiet Mind. I'm Dr. Daniel McIsaac, and today we're looking at one of the most influential psychotherapists still alive today, Dr. Irvin Yalom. Unlike many psychologists who became famous for developing specific techniques or treatment manuals, Yalom became known for asking some of life's deepest questions. His work bridges psychology, philosophy, psychiatry, and human connection. He reminds us that therapy is far more than reducing symptoms. It's about helping people live meaningful lives. Let's take a look at why his work continues to shape counseling around the world. Irvin D. Yalom is an American psychiatrist, professor emeritus at Stanford University, psychotherapist, and best-selling author. For more than 60 years, he has influenced generations of therapists through his clinical work, research, teaching, and writing. What makes Yalom unique is that he blends evidence-based psychotherapy with existential philosophy. Rather than viewing clients as collections of diagnoses or symptoms, he encourages therapists to see the whole person, their fears, their hopes, relationships, and their search for meaning. His influence extends well beyond psychiatry into counseling, psychology, social work, and education. Existential psychotherapy is based on a simple but profound idea. Many emotional struggles arise because we are human. Every person eventually faces uncertainty, loss, responsibility, change, loneliness, and mortality. Yalom believed therapy shouldn't avoid these realities. Instead, therapy should help people confront them honestly and discover greater freedom and purpose. This doesn't mean ignoring anxiety or depression. Rather, existential therapy asks what these symptoms might be telling us about how someone is living. At the center of Yalom's work are what he called the four ultimate concerns. These concerns are death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. He believed nearly every psychological struggle can be understood through one or more of these universal concerns. Let's briefly explore each one. Death. Yalom argued the awareness of death influences us throughout our lives. Most people don't constantly think about dying. Instead, death anxiety often appears indirectly. It may show up as perfectionism, excessive worry, fear of change, avoidance, or an overwhelming desire for certainty. Paradoxically, Yalom believed accepting mortality helps us appreciate life more fully. Recognizing that time is limited encourages us to live intentionally rather than automatically. Freedom and responsibility. The second concern is freedom. Freedom sounds positive, but with freedom comes responsibility. Every day we make choices. Even choosing not to decide is still a decision. Many people experience anxiety because freedom means accepting ownership of our own lives. Rather than blaming circumstance or waiting for someone else to rescue us, Yalom encouraged people to recognize the choices they do have. Taking responsibility becomes a path towards growth. Isolation. Yalom describes several forms of isolation. There is social isolation, being physically alone. There is interpersonal isolation, feeling disconnected from others. And there is existential isolation, the realization that no one can fully experience life exactly as we do. Even in close relationships, each person remains a unique individual. Rather than fearing this reality, Yalom believed genuine connection comes from accepting our individuality while courageously reaching toward others. Meaninglessness. The final concern is meaning. Many clients struggle not because life is objectively meaningless, but because they have lost connection with purpose. Yalom emphasized that meaning is rarely discovered all at once. Instead, it is created through relationships, service, creativity, values, work, and authentic living. One of therapy's goals is to help clients reconnect with what gives their life purpose. Perhaps Yalom's greatest contribution to counseling is his emphasis on the therapeutic relationship. He believed that techniques are important, but techniques alone rarely create lasting change. Healing occurs when the therapist and client develop an authentic relationship built on trust, honesty, empathy, and collaboration. He encouraged therapists to be genuine, not distant experts, but engaged human beings who carefully use the relationship itself as part of treatment. This perspective has influenced many modern counseling approaches. Yalom is also considered one of the founders of modern group psychotherapy. His book, The Theory and Practice of Group Psychotherapy, remains one of the most widely used training texts in the world. He identifies several therapeutic factors that explain why groups are so effective. These include hope, universality, the realization that others share similar struggles, interpersonal learning, emotional expression, group cohesion, altruism, and corrective emotional experiences. Today, nearly every professionally run therapy group reflects Yalom's influence. Yalom has also become one of psychology's most widely read authors. Love's Executioner shares memorable therapy stories that illustrate the complexity of human relationship. The Gift of Therapy offers practical wisdom for therapists and students. Staring at the Sun explores death anxiety and how facing mortality can enrich one's life. When Nietzsche Wept is an historical novel that blends philosophy and psychotherapy into a compelling story. Together, these books have introduced millions of readers to existential psychology. Today, Yalom's influence extends across counseling, psychology, psychiatry, and social work. His ideas are reflected in person-centered therapy, existential therapy, group counseling, trauma-informed care, and many integrative approaches. He reminds clinicians to see clients as complete human beings, not simply as a diagnosis or a symptom checklist. His work encourages therapists to remain curious, authentic, and deeply present. Irvin Yalom's legacy is remarkable. He has helped generations of therapists think more deeply about what counseling truly is. His work reminds us that healing doesn't always come from the perfect technique. Sometimes healing begins when another person sits with us, listens honestly, and helps us face life's deepest questions without judgment. His contributions continue to shape the way therapists practice around the world. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Historical Figures in Counseling. If you enjoyed learning about Irvin Yalom and his influence on modern psychotherapy, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and shared the video with somebody also interested in psychology or counseling. I'm Dr. Daniel McIsaac with The Quiet Mind. In this series, we're exploring the pioneers whose ideas continue to shape how we understand the human mind and help people heal. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and take care.